Spurgeon here with RevZilla, and today we're going to discuss how to replace your Helite CO2 canister at RevZilla.com. So while the instructions for the Helite garments are very detailed, we've had a few questions coming through in the comments section as to how to replace the CO2 cartridge. So we're going to break this down. Before we do so, let's hit the BSD, the Beard Scale of Difficulty, for what you should expect from this job. This is going to be less than a 1 out of 3. This is something that anyone out there can tackle. Think of it as just the old mustache on the Beard Scale of Difficulty. All the tools you'll need to complete this job are going to be included in the vest, and it's basically just going to be this little Allen wrench right here. So what you need to start the job is you need the Allen wrench that matches up with your Helite garment, and you need a replacement canister. Now, there are going to be different canisters based on the size Helite vest or jacket that you've purchased. Just keep that in mind. So you need to make sure that you have either the 60 gram or the 100 gram canister that comes with your jacket. And again, that's going to be on the product page. Just make sure that you have the right canister for your particular garment. Now we're going to break this down into 6 easy steps. And like I said, if you're following along in the instructions, this is going to be pretty simple. The instructions that Helite provides do a great job of explaining how to do this, but we just want to visualize it for you. So the first step is to unscrew the old canister, because you've already popped the canister. Either you were hanging out at a friend's house and you wanted to show everybody how it worked, or unfortunately you were in a motorcycle accident and it saved your skin, but now it's time to go ahead and replace this so you can reuse it. And the first step is to get rid of that old canister, and this is simply going to screw out. So all you need to do is thread that canister right out of the mechanism, and you have to do this first because you have to make sure you reset that spring. So the canister comes out, and then the next step is going to be to unscrew the bottom of the Allen head on this. So you'll notice there is a screw on the bottom, and you're going to take the Allen wrench as provided. You're going to simply loosen that up, and once that's loose, you can spin that out. It's usually just going to be thread tight. So you can go ahead, and that spins right out. And you'll notice that there's going to be a spring in there. And once you pull this out, that spring is going to fall back into place. And what you might have happen is the collet might not fall back down into place. So what you have to do is just take your Allen wrench and just kind of tap that collet back down in there. You'll notice on the inside there, it's usually either going to be blue or red. And you'll notice that matches right up. So the next step is once you have that inner collet back into place, you're going to take your tether. And the tether is the same little tether that you used to, pop this in the first place. And that little ball has to pop right back into the collet. Now you're going to have to hold that into place as you screw the Allen screw back in. So we're now going to go on to step 4. So we've tapped the collet down, that's step 3. We've inserted the ball and the tether, that's step 4. And now we're moving on to step 5, which is simply screwing the bottom Allen screw back into place. And like I said, as long as you hold that little tether into place, this you can use to just screw in by hand, and you'll feel it get tight on the ball. And once that starts to get a little bit snug there, that spring is pressing against it, and you'll notice that's not going to just pull right out on you. And then you can switch back over to your Allen wrench, and you can just start to tighten that back up. And once you feel this go snug, you'll notice that that bottom piece is going to be flush against the actual housing itself. Now, before you go ahead and put that new canister in, just make sure that tether is securely into place. You should notice the outer ring is secure and flush, and then that ball is moving freely. Now that's pretty much steps 1 through 5. The final step is to take your new canister, and you'll know it's a new canister. You don't want to confuse the two, but you want to make sure it's a new canister. Check and make sure that the bottom hasn't been punctured. You'll notice if you're looking at the old canister, there's a large puncture hole. So the last thing you want to do is take the old canister off and confuse yourself and put the old canister right back on. The worst case scenario there is if you are in a crash, you're not going to have any air to inflate your airbag vest. So just make sure you're not confusing those two canisters. And the final step in the process is you just want to screw the new canister back into place. Once you have this screwed into place, your canister mechanism is going to be completely reloaded. Again, making sure this screws all the way down to the base. And then all that's left to do is you're going to run your tether back through your vest or your jacket, whichever garment you're using. Make sure that that's all the way through. And then from that point on, you have a freshly loaded canister, and your airbag jacket and or vest is ready for another use. Now, Now, if you are still confused at any part of this process, never hesitate to reach out to one of our gear geeks, 877-792-9455, or simply shoot over an email to cs@RevZilla.com. Thank you for joining us for this look at how to replace your Helite CO2 canister. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.